Good evening, Monday, August 19th, 2024, here in Sarasota, Florida. That's the Gregorian matrix date. And on the 13 moon calendar, today is magnetic 25, right? Yeah, magnetic 25. It is also the full moon today. So for those of you that are a little bit more energetically sensitive, I don't know if you tend to feel the new moon and the full moon, but I definitely do. I wanted to take a minute because it has been more than just a little bit synchronistic that, again, I know folks aren't going to be, super familiar with this particular time tracking system, but each month has a tone. And as I shared, the first tone in the first month of this blue rhythmic storm year is the magnetic moon of purpose. Every single tone has three words associated with it. And this one, for magnetic, tone one, the three words that are associated are unify, attract, and purpose. And then at the beginning of each month, there's always a quotation that's listed at the top. And as is the case quite often, the synchronicity and timing of things, especially as it pertains to the use of this calendar for me in the past 2 years, it's not accidental. And I just think it's been a beautiful synchronicity that this particular exercise of taking this series and launching this series and having for myself this very specific goal during this only stretch like this that I have in the whole calendar year, to do this series, and that it happened to align perfectly with this entire month. So I just want to read the quote and then we'll move on to today's video. The quotation that is listed at the top of the first month of the blue rhythmic storm year, reads like this: Our perpetual inner purpose is to awaken to the energy of our beingness and allow it to organize and inform the unfolding of our outer purpose. Once again, our perpetual inner purpose is to awaken to the energy of our beingness and allow it to organize and inform the unfolding of our outer purpose. Again, totally apropos, totally relevant to the underlying or overriding goal, underlying intention of this exercise with this series called Touching the Soul Through the Heart, Body, and Mind. And I did not plan that. I did not plan that. This is just the 30-day period, the way it played out. It started on the 23rd of July, so 3 days before the first day of the year, and it's ending literally. The last video will get posted and uploaded on the 22nd, which is the last day of this month. So a beautiful synchronicity, at least to me. Today's video 28 of 30, the final three. I'm a bit giddy with how well this has gone for me. I'm going to try to save some summary thoughts until the actual last one. So let's just jump into what I wanted to talk about today. I felt like, especially after the past couple of few videos where I ended up going a little bit more personally than I thought I would go, sharing and referencing some tougher things from my past, most notably related to my family. It's hard to hide the identity of our families, right? Again, I've got so many aunts and uncles and cousins that, in the very, very rare, almost near impossible chance that any of them stumble upon any of these videos, if they happen to hear me reference, like, none of them, very few of them will know who I'm referencing specifically, if I'm even referencing any of them specifically, which I'm really not. It's sort of the collective. My mom, my dad, and my brother's a little bit of a different story. But I felt that the topic of this video was very appropriate to bring up today, which is this. I know this is going to be perhaps hard to believe, but it is, I don't, I feel like it's gonna sound weird, but I'm just gonna say it. When I reference people, when I talk about, now I will never use anybody's specific name unless I have their permission to use their name. But when I reference people, because I am a storyteller, and because the stories of my life are what I know most intimately, I'm a storyteller. And when I share stories from my life, even if I don't use names, there will be some stories where if the person people or person that I'm referencing in the story, if they were to hear the story, they could very well know it's them that I'm talking about. And likewise, by extension, depending on the story and the circumstance, there very well could be, maybe in some cases, a small group of people that know who I'm talking about. Let me give an example real quickly. The married guy that I fell in love with when I was a teenager. My high school basketball team will absolutely, positively know who I'm talking about. A handful of friends on Facebook that I have that go back to high school, only a handful will know who I'm talking about. Should that person ever stumble upon one of my videos, he would know who I was talking about. Now, I'm going to say this. No matter what the circumstance of the story is, it is, should be, let's put it this way. If I had a wish for how anybody would receive any story that I share that they know is about them, regardless if it's a positive story or if it's a negative story, I am saying I am hoping you receive it in the honor that it is. Because if I am sharing a story about you, good or bad, right? Whether it's in a positive light or a negative light, it means it has had a lasting impression on me. And lasting impressions are usually some of the most influential parts of our lives, hugely influential. Another one that I referenced recently, my college basketball coach. It would not take much digging to find out who that was. If I've shared enough about my dates of when I graduated high school, when I started out of college, I've shared enough. There's tidbits in there that if somebody wanted to put the pieces together, they could easily find out who that person was that I was referencing when I said how horribly she treated us. Another one, right? But let me tell you, as I've shared before, from a team athlete perspective, you learn a hell of a lot more from your losses than your wins. And likewise, on the personal journey, you grow a hell of a lot more from the pain than you do from the wins, from the great stuff. The real growth and transformation and healing comes from the tough stuff. So even though it seems paradoxical to say, because it's probably people who would hear themselves, if I'm sharing a bad story, who would feel, whatever they're going to feel. I'm telling you, I am grateful for all of it. Now, I might not be able to find that in the moment with certain things. I have a couple of work relationships in my life at present that go back to some of those old frequencies and old vibrations. And I have a hard time leaving things. I have a hard time leaving things, even when I'm no longer being served. And then I get angry, but I have no one but to blame but myself if I continue in the circumstance. So like there's a couple right now that I'm not handling with the greatest amount of grace. I'm working on it. I'm really working on it. And I'm really working when I get triggered to focus on being grateful, because if it was all hunky-dory, it wouldn't have launched what this one I'm particularly referencing right now, everything that my partner and I, business partner and I have launched into came about because of the circumstances in our in our main working environment within the events, the one where we met. If it had been all hunky dory and peachy keen and rainbows and unicorns, we never would have had the fire lit under our asses to try to do what we're out there trying to do. And then that relationship, the ripple effect, remember the ripple effects, that relationship and that dynamic with my business partner has catapulted me, catapulted me. That was what I was really, I don't want to say needing, but I think I was absolutely needing it. I needed that reflection from an extremely strong man that is also very ambitious with a very big vision, that's also entrepreneurial, that is a good man. I needed that reflection as opposed to some of the other masculine energy that I had been, again, the wounds, the patterns. I didn't have a good reflection. So I just wanted to share that however this sounds, it should feel like, I mean, it should, there are no shoulds. I'm saying to people, if and when you hear me reference you in any way, I am intending it to be something that is, it's an honor because you have affected my life. You have affected my life deeply. Out of the million touch points of all the details of my almost 49 years on this planet in this lifetime, if you happen to be somebody in a story that I'm sharing, again, it's going to sound however it sounds, but it should be seen and received as an honor because regardless of how it may appear on the surface, I'm telling you, I am grateful for it all. And I'm hoping to share a lot more of the ones in the positive light. But there is a place, a time and a place to share some of the tougher stuff. And right now, given that I am about to break through for real this time, it makes sense that some of that tougher stuff is closer to the surface right now at this moment, because it's that tougher stuff that I allow to keep holding me back. I've allowed it to keep holding me back. I've been afraid, like I said, if I really shine my light, if I really step up and really be me, what energy is going to knock me down and tell me I don't have that right? The energy from my past really just kept knocking me down. And I allowed it because I didn't know any better. But now I know better. I'm not going to be knocked down. Not this time. Not this time. I am standing tall as my 4'11 3/4 ass can stand. And I am doing it this time. I am going to weave together everything that I've been doing for 12 years. And I can't tell you exactly what it's going to look like, but there will be, rest assured, many wonderful stories. And I wish I could tell how long this has been going. I guess I'll just finish with this one. I have one incredibly close girlfriend who is presently going through every one of these videos. She lives currently in Ireland. She's one of my world traveling friends. She's one of my soul sisters and soul family members. I met her on the Ironman circuit. Now, we've got to be knocking on 8, 9 years ago, maybe even almost 10 years ago. I think I met her in 15 or 16. And she is, oh my, I cannot put into words what her going through these videos, each one of them in order, and sharing with me what it brings up for her. And just, it's unbelievably, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And to hear how positively they affect her, and trust me, she's been watching a lot of my videos over the years. In fact, this isn't the first 30 video series that I've done either. I've done one called Becoming Iron Woman Within Iron Man, but that one was a lot less, it was more chaotic. It wasn't as tight as I feel like this one has been, but I have been just humbled and honored of for the time this busy woman is taking to watch, and the feedback she gives, and the beautiful exchange of the energy. And it's helping me in ways that I can't even put into words yet. And so trust me, there are way more positive stories than sad negative ones. And those positive ones are going to be coming, because it's those and those people that I am bound and determined to get us really out of the box, and to start bringing some of these amazing people from my life together, and bringing our energies together to put out things into this world, because we're just all still so untapped in our individual environments, but what is brewing is big. And to that friend in Ireland, I thank you. I thank you from the depths of me. And to all of you, I thank you for your attention and your energy. Because as I will continue to say, our attention is perhaps the most valuable thing that we have at this moment. And you can either feed the clown show and the shit show of the mass world outside of us with your attention, or you can give your attention and your energy towards being the change. Being the change. Where in your life can you participate in something, even just with your attention, that is really, truly different than the same old, same old? That's the smallest, yet perhaps, paradoxically, the biggest thing we could be aware of going forward is our attention. So thank you for yours. Have a great night.